Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Legacy. Thank you for stopping by. Today I would actually like to talk about something that I've been really wanting to talk about for a while now. It's a title that I've been putting off and I don't want to put off anymore. It's something I learned about even last year, more about it from, you may have heard of the book Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zeland. And I took some notes from his audiobook. I haven't bought his book yet, but I do have like a abridged version of his book. So I wanted to read some notes that I took just about what pendulums are, so you guys can get an idea of what they are before I kind of go into what I want to talk about it. So I may be looking down for just a minute, so pardon me for that, but here we go. Okay, so I'm just going to read what I wrote down in my notes. Okay, what pendulums are. Pendulums are energy beings. They function in according with unchangeable laws of the universe. The individuals gives their energy to the pendulums when their thought energy is radiating at the same resonance frequency. A person does not have to be conscious even while they're sending these thought forms to benefit the pendulum. As you know, most human thought and action originates in the realm of the unconscious. Pendulums make use of this feature of the human psyche. They manage to get energy not only from the allegiance, but also from the zealous opponents. You probably have already guessed how. When two or more people come together and talk and agree on anything, it's any subject or any topic at all, they emit intense thought energy at the frequency of the pendulum. It does not matter to the pendulum which side of the rock it came from. It can use both positive and negative energy, just as long as the energy it resonates with its own. A pendulum's main task is to engage people. Engage people. So a pendulum's main task is to engage us. It's to engage people in any way possible, in order to occupy their thoughts with the view of the mass of media. The pendulum's techniques have become more sophisticated, and a person becomes more highly dependent on them. You have probably noticed that the news programs are usually dominated by bad news, evoking strong emotions like anxiety or fear, resentment, anger, and hatred. The task of journalists and correspondents is to attract attention. The media being pendulums themselves, stand in service to get more powerful pendulums. Their declared aim is to free access to all information, but their true singular goal is to attune people's thoughts in all ways possible to the desired frequency. One of the pendulum's favorite ways of gaining access to your energy is to throw you off balance. So I'm going to use, like it said, like with these news reporters, they're told what to say, right? Okay, so but what they do is they share a lot of bad news. Mostly when you watch the news, it's mostly all bad news, right? I mean, most people have noticed this. It's not like it's like all happy and good news and like miracles and happy type things. It's usually negative things that we're listening to, and we're also being fed like things that probably aren't even true a lot of the times, and we take it as truth. So this also starts to help, like it helps with like forming new like thoughts, pendulums with people. Whatever's like the newest thing that they're talking about on the news. You know how many people watch the same channel and the news on there, and then they all start to listen to it. They all get on the same page. And then like I will hear people talking to other people about, did you hear what was on the news and this and this, and you can see them getting so upset and so angry and putting so much of their energy into it that they don't even realize that they're feeding into these basically what they are is these energetic beings that just feed off of our frequency that we are emitting, like it says. And so they, whatever like their natural frequency is, whether it's like anger or fear, like it said, or anxiety, resentment, hatred. And when people are talking about like how much they hate this person who's running for president or whatever it is, and they're like, yeah, oh, he's horrible, you know, they're feeding into these energetic pendulums, these energetic beings, which are forming these pendulums, which is basically, to put it, you know, point blank, it's just, you know, you're just feeding into a thought form of a certain, you can call it a cult, not occult, but a cult or a sect, a segregation of people who segregate together, who have the same thought patterns and same beliefs, the same feelings and emotions, and they're emitting the same frequencies, feeding these energetic beings, just more so feeding into that pendulum of that negative thought form or whatever it is. It's usually something negative, right? Now, it said that they can also feed off of good. It doesn't matter. Like, I guess, I mean, it did say that. I know it said that. It said it can use both positive and negative energy. So, and sometimes too, you know, what seems to be positive and what we're talking about is positive, sometimes can also be not really truly positive. It can be like a false type of positivity. You know, there's a lot of that going around, actually. I see that everywhere, but a lot of people, they can act like they're being really positive about something, but then you find out later on how they really feel about it through seeing their actions, and actions speak louder than words sometimes, you know. So a lot of times there's these fake positivity teachings going on, and people get so caught up in that. Excuse me, I need to drink water. But, excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat. So, it's just, I wanted to like talk about this because I think this is important. I don't think people really understand the power of your emotions and your thoughts. And when you're talking about these kinds of things with people, and how, you know, we can be feeding into these energetic beings, which are just keeping these pendulums going. And it can be like pendulums that are really like unhealthy, or they can even be dangerous to humanity, to our evolution, to our consciousness, as being more on the positive side, which we want to be. I think most people would agree on that, at least most people. So we want to talk about more about positive things. I won't even watch the news. Like, I remember even as a young teenager, I remember talking to my stepmom back then, and I said, I don't like watching the news. And she said, and she was an adult, you know, she's like, I don't watch the news at all. It's depressing. I'm like, yeah, I don't watch it because of that too. It's depressing. And, you know, I am a natural empath. I'm a Heyoka empath. So that means like I can literally feel other people's feelings, and I can pick up on their thoughts as well, because I'm a psychic medium also. And so I can really, I'm very sensitive to energies of people, and of just even in the spirit realm. But yeah, like I don't want to like feed into negative pendulums, no matter what they may be, whether it's you're watching the news and you're listening to things about where they're talking about things from the Democratic view and or the Republicans, view of things. And, you know, it's just, people get so angry and stuff, and put so much energy into, you know, being angry about certain things, you know, with the duality between those two things, or anything for that matter, you know, or if you're in a certain religion, even certain religions, they have many different denominations, you know, like and they will just go at it if you don't agree with what they believe. And it's just like they're just feeding more into those energetic beings and into that pendulum, to be stronger and to spread throughout the world even more, into more of human consciousness, and to become even more a part of our reality. And I'm always teaching on my channel. If you'll go and look at some of my other videos, you will see that I'm talking about how to create your own reality. And your thoughts become things, and they've been learning this through science and quantum physics. So many people are talking about this more and more now, all over the internet, all over online and social media platforms. We do create our own reality, but it's not just with our thoughts, it's also with our emotions. As I just read, they are fed by through our frequency, and our frequencies come from our emotions and our thoughts. But see, you have the thought first and then the emotion, typically. Not always, but mostly. Yes, you will have a thought, and then it leads to the emotion, which then leads to, releasing of that emotion, then therefore releasing that into whatever energetic, being that is taking it into whatever pendulum, you're leaning more towards it, that you are talking about and have an intense emotion about, or feeling about, or opinion about. So I just want to encourage you guys that if you are manifestors, you know how to manifest. Like, you understand, you researched about, how to manifest, like through the law of attraction, through the law of assumption, which is what I mostly teach on my channel, that I have so far. I mean, I have a lot of stuff on law of assumption that I teach and share teachings from Neville Goddard, who's like known as the granddaddy of law of assumption teachings. But, and then there's also, what's her name? Something Scoville Shin. I always forget her first name, but anyways, they really were the forerunners. Talk a lot about how to manifest through the law of assumption. Oh, I think it's Florence Scovel Shin, pardon me, Florence Scovel Shin. And then there's Neville Goddard, who I resonate with probably a little bit more, but I like them both. And they teach a lot about different techniques and way to how to manifest your reality. And they do talk about how important it is, your mental diet, meaning like the kinds of thoughts that you're dwelling on, the kinds of thoughts you're mostly thinking. Most people, like, they say when they hear about meditation, well, I don't know how to meditate. Actually, yes, you do. You know how to meditate if you have a certain thought that you can't get out of your head, and you keep thinking about it and thinking about it. That's meditating. That's actually a type of meditation. There's all kinds of different types of meditations, but that is a form of meditation. You're dwelling and meditating on this thing over and over and over in your mind. It could be negative, it could be positive, and you don't even realize that you're actually feeding also into that type of pendulum. And there's thought forms. This is another thing. Thought forms are something that basically when you have a thought, it forms into, like, out into the, if you want to call it the ether, to the universe, into the universe. And basically, because we're all connected, and because we're all one with the source of all, you can call it God, source of all, source energy, or the universe, whatever you can call your higher power. Basically, whatever you call your higher power, yes, you are literally, excuse me, I need to drink water. You literally are having these thoughts coming into, well, what we all are is actually, this is what I wanted to say, we're all collectively, we're all the consciousness of God. But not everybody is really thinking God-like thoughts, as you know, because there's a lot of malevolent things, evil things going out in the world, happening in the world. And those types of people who do those kinds of things, who hurt people, harm people, and things like that, they're what you would consider unawakened people. They're walking around on autopilot, and they're just they're like walking zombies, and they're just doing what they've always done, which, maybe some thinking bad, feeling bad, doing bad things, things that are not good or helpful for humanity, for humankind, humanity. And so those kinds of people, I don't want people to think because I say we're all the consciousness of God that, that everybody is actually quite there just yet. I mean, there's a lot of people, yes, like I said, that do things that, are not good or kind, or, just you would deem as something as evil or whatever. But, there's a lot of people, though, that are awakened to being the consciousness of God, to having more godlike, kinds of thoughts that align with, goodness, kindness, unconditional love, compassion, peace, unconditional love, non-judgment, being non-judgmental, just things like this, and just wanting to help others, people who want to help others and show love to other people by maybe doing humanitarian work, or going out and helping feeding the homeless, and maybe helping try to get them off the streets, helping people who need counseling of some sort or whatever. There's all kinds of things that we do to help people who are more in touch and more close to the alignment of the thoughts of God, the heart of God. And I usually say God more than anything, I think, honestly. I mean, I know in a lot of my videos previously, I try to I see that I'm trying to appease everyone by saying, when I start to say God, or I say, or, whatever you call your higher power. And I try to be all inclusive on that, because I don't want people to be turned off and think, oh, you're talking about this religious God from the Bible or whatever, within Christianity. No, I'm not actually. I'm talking about the creator of everything, the creator of all. At one point, I was a Christian a long time ago, several years ago. I stopped being a Christian almost a decade ago now, because I did not fit in with a lot of the thought forms and pendulums that they formed, especially the one on, you're going to rot in hell and all that for, smoking a cigarette or whatever, things that have been said, just silly things to me, why a person would go to hell. That God would even create a hell, to me, is unconceivable, because an all-loving God would not do that. And I spent back then, geez, my gosh, I would spend 9 hours a day studying for several to 10 years on hell, just that one topic alone, till I was absolutely sure and positive, what I believed on it, because it was just I went back and forth, because I was in the church, I was in, certain denominations, and they were really big on mostly teaching hell more than they taught about heaven. They were more teaching about demons and the works of the so-called devil than they were talking about the works of God or angels, so it's just, I'm just why is all this why is this, I mean, I came into Christianity thinking this was all going to be, more positive, more of a positive experience, and in my almost 20 years of being a Christian, it was mostly negative, and pretty much a lot of the teachings influenced my thought forms, and I would get on their pendulums that were not healthy for me, and then I made some poor decisions and choices in my life that pretty much ruined my life and my relationships with people. So that's why I want to talk about how important it is to keep on your mental diet, stay on top of your thoughts. Don't just go around aimlessly thinking all day, whatever that pops in your head, because I'm telling you, these thought forms that you can really pick up from other people is because we're all one, we're all connected, we're all interconnected with God, the creator of all, and with each other. And I'm you pushed out, you're me pushed out, and all together we're all God pushed out, whether we know it or not, whether we realize it or not. And yes, there are unawakened people who do bad things, who hurt people. But, you know, originally they were not born that way. Okay, Hitler was not born that way. And, you know, a lot of maybe bad things happened to them in their childhood or whatever, abuse and things like that, that got them to the point of being the type of person that did harmful things to others and to, well, Hitler, to many other 6 million Jewish people. You know, it's very sad, but I don't even want to talk about that because I used to get really sensitive about that and cry. I used to cry so hard when I would watch anything on that. Oh my gosh, everything they went through. But, you know, we don't know what Hitler was raised like. You know, it's just amazing. Like, I just got done listening to this other guy who teaches on the law of assumption. You can check him out. I think his channel is actually by his grandfather's name, who's passed away, who actually met Neville Goddard, who I was talking about earlier, have his books and stuff. He goes by, I think, Elmer O. Locker. O and Locker separate. Elmer O. Locker. But his name is David. And he has actually some old video footage from before his grandfather passed away, talking about how he met Neville Goddard, how he was in his VIP classroom, which, you know, were people who were actually seeing results with the techniques that Neville Goddard was teaching on how to manifest their reality, and they were seeing amazing results, right? Well, this guy, David, whose handle on YouTube is, I'm pretty sure, Elmer O'Locker, that's the name of his grandpa. In honor of his grandpa, he named his channel that. I just got done listening to his story about how he, the way he was raised and how it ended him in prison. And it's just, wow, it's a very sad story, but also at the end, it's got a wonderful, you know, ending, because obviously he got out of prison and he manifested his way out of prison because his grandfather taught him about manifestation and the importance of his mental diet and his thoughts and his feelings and what he meditated on and what he thought upon. And he spent much of his time in prison, you know, meditating and, you know, keeping away from others that, you know, he knew would be talking negative. He would, like, I remember he just said he would give a little, like, card to somebody. I'm making a video. And sorry, my roommate, I'm getting a drink of water. Like, he would pass this card out and say, if somebody would try to talk to me and say, sorry, vow of silence right now, I'm not talking, no offense. But he's like 6'4", 250 pounds, he said at the time, so nobody really bothered him anyways, and he was always at the rec room, you know, working out, so he's still buff and big and everything, so nobody bothered him. But he got into prison because of the way he was raised. And, you know, if he had been raised maybe by a more loving parent that, you know, taught him, you know, not to be getting into drugs and alcohol and things like that, maybe it would have been different for him and he wouldn't have ended up in prison. Most likely that wouldn't have happened because his father started getting him drinking. I think he said at the age of 13, I think. It might have been younger. But, you know, he started drinking at such a young age, and it got to the point where, you know, when he was in his adulthood, he blacked out. Like a complete blackout scene, like, you know, he don't remember anything from that night, and then he just remembers waking up in jail, and the next day he had a piece of paper in front of him that's saying that he was, you know, that he had somehow was accused of I don't know, like manslaughter of an officer or something like that. And I'm like, wow, what? And he doesn't even know what he did. He can't remember. And it was just really actually crazy. I don't know why they said that, but, you know, from what he said, what he was charged, what really happened, I don't know why he was in charge. I mean, not in charge, why they labeled it that as to why he was in prison. But he basically you know, woke up saying that he could spend the rest of his life in prison. And so, you know, right away, he's like freaking out a little bit, but then he's kind of like, you know what, I'm going to manifest my way out of here. And to cut the story short on that, he did. But he did spend 8 years in prison though. But he did manifest his way out of there. And he took every class he could and he got so many certifications and, you know, I don't know if he got like actual like certain degrees too, I think, on a lot of things. I think he did. And he just said he kept his mental focus on things that he knew would take his full attention in that moment. So he would keep his mind on something positive, something good. And then, you know, he would always like just keep using his imagination. That's very huge, and using your imagination when you want to manifest your reality into something that you want, something that you, or even for yourself, and your self-concept. Like he said, he had a very poor self-concept of himself, and I know I did too before. For a long time, most of my life, I had a very poor very poor self-concept of myself, and I think a lot of people do. And you know, they just kind of like let that fly and let that go, and they don't even really try to work on it. And I've worked on it more than half my life. And so, you know, I've spent most of my life working on becoming the person that I am today, who I actually love. And I really enjoy being the person I am. And I enjoy what I do. I enjoy being a spiritual teacher. I enjoy making these videos for you guys. And I hope that this video has helped you. I hope this video has blessed you. It's getting long, so I'm going to cut it short. I'll be making more videos like this. There's more like in-depth, like things that I would like to talk about on this topic, that has other topics that go along with it, that, you know, would just really make for a very interesting and intriguing video. So please hit the like so we can get my videos out there into the algorithm. I'd appreciate it very much. And please subscribe. Anybody's welcome to check out my videos, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for watching this video. If you've come this far, 25 minutes, almost 26 now. So thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. And feel free, like I said, to share this with anybody if you feel like it'll help them and bless them. You know, our mental diet is very important thing, because it literally affects our reality and the kind of lives that we live, and it affects our self-concept and how we see ourselves. It affects our relationships, it affects our careers, it affects everything. Our love life, you name it, it affects everything. So yeah, I just wanted to encourage you to try to stay in a positive mindset, and, you know, do whatever you can to do that. You know, affirmations are helpful. Just, you know, thinking about things that you like about yourself instead of things you don't like about yourself. And if you can't think of something that you like about yourself, then ask others who you know love you unconditionally, or, you know, somebody that cares about you. What do you like about me? What do you think about me? Whatever. What do you like about me? Like, name a couple things, or a few things, or 5 things, or 10 things, or whatever that you like about me. You know, I remember a long time ago, somebody told me, hey, why don't you just write down 10 things that you like about yourself, and do some mirror work, and say it in the mirror, and say what you like about yourself. And I did that, and probably in under a month, just about a month, I really switched my mindset around, and I really saw myself in a whole new light, and it really benefited me, and just how I saw my self-concept and myself, like, it really did help. So that kind of mirror work with affirmations, that helps too. So just a little extra advice there if you need help with your self-concept. I don't know. Just throwing that in there. But okay, thanks for watching, you guys. And I don't know if I said my name in the beginning, but I'm Legacy, and if you're new to my channel, I hope that you come back again. So thank you so much for watching. All right, love you. Peace.